compare some typical animal cells. So here we're looking at sperm cells. You'll notice that they're pretty streamlined cells. They're the only flagellated cells in a human body. Flagellum is here. And they have really a singular mission, which is to deliver DNA, deliver chromosomes to the ovum for fertilization and generation of a new person. If we look down here, we can see another type of cell, which is a neuron. This is nervous tissue. This is the neuron. And that neuron's job is to send and receive electrical signals. So like the sperm has a projection, the flagellum, that helps it move, that helps it swim or mobilize. The projections here on the neuron, and let's take a closer look at that neuron. And we can see the projections indicated by the black arrows. Those projections allow neurons to conduct signals over really long distances. So if you consider something like a sciatic nerve, the sciatic nerve exits through the sacrum and then goes all the way down the back of the leg into the dorsum of the foot, the bottom of the foot, or the sole of the foot. Those are pretty long neurons, depending on how tall you are. They may be 3 or 4 feet long. If you had really short projections, it would mean you'd have to have multiple neurons in a line to carry those signals to different parts of the body. So a good analogy for that would be, say, not having cell phone towers or telephone lines that are really long. You'd have to call your next door neighbor, who'd call their next door neighbor, who'd keep calling, say, 3,000 next door neighbors to get a call from the East Coast to the West Coast, which would be pretty inefficient. And that same principle of efficiency applies in human bodies as well. The cells over here are blood cells, red blood cells, and a white blood cell. And you'll notice that as opposed to the neuron, the sperm, or these squamous cells, these cells are very round. And the fact that they're round allows them to move through the tubes of blood vessels and through the chambers of the heart without having edges that will snag on those tubes or snag on valves in the heart, because that could start a blood clot, stop blood flow, and that would be pretty inefficient. The circular structure of the red blood cells also allows them, when they go through capillaries, to line up single file and move through those capillaries as they should for the most efficient exchange of gases. And the last type of cell we'll look at are these. These are squamous cells. These are squamous cells that have come from a cheek scraping. And you can see they're pretty individualized here. They're flat. You're looking at sort of the top or bottom view of these cells. But if you look, say here or here, you can see that they are flat but three-dimensional cells. So individually, one of these cells is not super strong, but collectively, if we look here, this is stratified squamous epithelium. So these cells, because they're flat, they can stack up with each other. And if we look here, we can see a whole bunch of them, maybe 20, 25 or so layers stacked up that make a virtually impermeable fence in some cases. So if this was in skin, we have these multiple layers that are tightly joined together with tight junctions or anchoring junctions between them that allow the cells to stay together and move as a unit so that they don't tear every time we move the skin. That wouldn't really be possible with round cells like this or these sperm cells, because you'd have big gaps here between the flagellum unless you pack them really, really tight. But again, that would be pretty inefficient. These sperm cells are magnified around 1,000 times. These squamous cells are magnified at about 40 times, as is the stratified squamous over here. and these neurons are only magnified about 10 times. So all this is meant to show you that form and function go hand in hand. Anatomy and physiology are inextricable. They depend on each other. The structure of a cell, the structure of a body part is really important in how that body part functions.